culture nested inside of residential communities, and you're like, oh, for every 10 houses, we just have one house that everybody just grows fucking blueberries in. You know what I mean? Aren't we like fucking flush with blueberries so much? We got to trade to other fucking neighborhoods for their honey or what the fuck ever, right? Like, isn't that just a funner way to do things? Like, rather than just have to put everything on the backs of the commercial industry to fucking provide us for food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just thinking outside the box here.
By the way, I posted the documentary. The subtitles are also pretty good that YouTube provides. Maybe you then get what I'm saying, this stuff.
I don't know. I saw like this guy, like some kind of modern forager or whatever. He's into that kind of thing, but he just does the whole year. Just basically plans it out like ahead of time. Try to do the whole year or whatever. But all his neighbors have different things, and he's like sort of about this kind of idea. I think it's cool. I wish it was more of a movement, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Americans have certain regions where you have such good climate. People could just use the whole garden to grow their own food, but they just don't do it.
Like if you implemented strategies like this where you have high homeless populations anyway, right?
Yeah.
High homeless populations exist because there's good weather anyway. So if you just had some kind of, I don't know, kill two birds with one, or whatever, maybe they're not even birds that need to be killed. Let's just figure it's, you know, there's a smarter way to manage our land and our agro stuff. You know what I mean? That used to be something that we did here. You know, used to be something Americans did. They used to grow things out in the ground.
I mean, many Europeans came over to the US because of agricultural land that was cheap for sale, right? Back in the days, like many Germans, also, like they bought like big pastures of land, and then first of all they started working with the farmer there, and then they expanded for themselves. That's why you find many German ancestry farmers in the US.
Because you guys just hijacked Pennsylvania, like it's way too big. Pennsylvania.
I have
It takes a long time to fly over. I don't see how they did it in like was supposed to take a day, 1 day's horse ride or something like that to try to get
with the ship, you know.
Yeah, fucking Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, 1776. Weird. You bitches with your Pennsylvania and your Philadelphia that's fucking, that's a city of the sun, ain't it? It's just going all wrong, man.
Yo, Snacks, you was asking about the Philosopher's Stone? What about it?
Right, and then you're trying to tell me it's a metal. And you're like, oh, that's the Philosopher's Stone. That's what's a metal.
No, I didn't say the Philosopher's Stone itself is a metal.
Okay. All right.
I said the Philosopher's Stone symbolizes the ability to change base metals into gold, which is just kind of what, you know,
did you then say about
does gold today? Yeah. The Philosopher's Stone is a stone that changes base metals to gold.
Quick question. How much would you pay in the US for natural spring water without fluoride? Like without anything added?
The Philosopher's Stone is limestone.
You asking like what's the price of bottled water?
Yeah, like about spring water, like without added fluoride or anything like that.
I don't know, $1.50, $2.
Like, it's not much more than the purified water. It's pretty close.
Well, you're like hating on Florida though, Clay. It has like more spring water than like basically anywhere in the world.
No, I'm not particularly hating on Florida. I know. I'm not hating at the US at all. Like I have no hate against the US. I'm just saying when it comes to the law for the people, regarding the system, it's very broken. That's the thing.
But Germany sucks, bro. You're not even allowed to talk about the 6 million number.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing that sucks. But I mean, at least the thing is, it's like to land on the street in Germany is like a very hard thing. It's almost like as you need to force yourself to do it. You know, it's like I'm not praising Germany, not at all. There's also problems here, but America, like it's like if you land on the street, no one cares. And if you don't have money, you're screwed. So to
Dude,
say.
that's probably how they're depicting it to you, but that's not how I see it here.
Okay. But I'm just, but in general, how much would like out of a glass bottle, like a 6-pack or something, of spring water cost in the US?
The same as purified water, man.
And it comes in glass bottles?
No, not often. It comes
Okay.
in plastic.
Yeah.
They're trying to kill everyone, man.
Hey guys, about the philosopher's stone you were talking about before, it is about the metal turning, but the philosopher's stone is mostly about finding eternal life. That's what these guys were about when you hear the philosopher's stone.
Yeah, Clay, let me know whenever Germany bans the centralized digital currency.
Yeah, like Florida did.
Well, which
Let's
is, at
go.
the end of the day, you know how the story goes, right? I mean, it's a revelation, but I'm just saying from the perspective of comfortableness, I have it pretty damn good in Germany compared to the infrastructure in the US, you know.
I know how the story goes. There was this country of people that used to be based. They came up with incredible agricultural innovation. They developed electrogravitic propulsion devices. They wanted to explore our world. They found out that the swastika is actually about the sky. They went and explored unexplored regions. They were obsessed with the ancient civilizations and how they were advanced. And then everything took a turn for the worse. And now they're cucked without freedom of guns and freedom of speech. And they're not even allowed to say the number 6 million out loud. And they pay money to their oppressors annually.
But I mean, you can still talk about it with your family about that particular thing, but you just can't. You can literally talk about it, right? It's not like forbidden to talk about it, but you cannot publicly share it in a way that you would try to influence other people. That's the thing. Like it's
Clay,
yeah.
Clay, your people have subjugated Europe. Your people are the ones that keep everybody's the boot on their neck with the money. So don't be telling us how great Germany is, bro.
Well, come
Yeah,
over
well,
here and see it for yourself, man.
Yeah, come on, we all know England's the best.
You know, when I was in Italy last year and I see the infrastructure of streets at certain places, houses, and you know, overall look of things, I was happy to be a German. You know,
Well,
like this.
well, your country took money away from old people's pensions in Europe. Okay?
Mm.
So trust me, your country is as evil as they get when it comes to money. So don't be preaching us about Germany.
actually, your country was clearly pivotal in the deception of the state of Israel, which seems to hide the fact that potentially the United States is actually the promised land, and maybe Egypt was actually here. And they created this entire false narrative by this false dilemma, right, between Zionism and Germany. And then that set up the deception of the state of Israel.
You could blame a lot of that on England as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, like, basically, all these countries suck, but I will say that if I was going to guess on a country that's going to fight back against the New World Order and I had to pick between Germany and the U.S., I'm definitely going to bet on the U.S., dude.
No competition, bro. No competition.
Well,
Not so
the
much
the thing I like about Germany is not only the history and the infrastructure, but it's actually the fact of the historical value that, you know, back in the days, even the Romans, like where I live, for example, most of the villages are, you know, mostly founded through Romans. The oldest city in Germany is actually Roman. So there's a reason why the Romans love this place, you know. Like they literally they started agriculture with wine and all that stuff right here where I live. So if there is, I mean, there is a reason why there's, you know, so many groups of people that are has always been in the history drawn to this land, you know.
Hey, but
Uh,
which country's going to fight back against the NWO more?
I mean,
They're
Germany is
both
a
a
very
part
low
of it. Like, you
proportion.
can't really say that, can you? Are you saying the people? Because I'd like to say that, you know, well, there's protests in every fucking country at the moment. So the people that are waking up will protest and will be against it. But you're talking like as if countries, you know, we all know that they're working together. We saw this a couple of years ago. It's not like America versus Germany, who's more lean towards the NWO or not. Like they're controlled by the
Really?
NWO.
What's the German Gun Control Act? The German Weapons Act. What is that? Clay, what's the German Weapons Act?
I don't know, man.
Oh.
But the thing is, you know, it doesn't matter if you want to have a weapon in Germany, you get it very easily through the dark web or just, you know, through someone who you know. Like, I mean, we have shootings almost every week, you know. Like, I
Dude, you
think
said
that.
very easy. You said very easily through the dark web, Clay. You want to know what very easily is, man? In my home state, you know what you do to get a gun, bro? You just walk into the store and you ask for a gun.
Don't you need like a license or something?
So
No, not where I'm
any
from.
can just
Not
walk
where
in
I'm
there and
from.
get a gun. Like that doesn't seem like the safest place in the world.
It does. It seems amazing. Yeah, it seems incredible.
It's
I love
actually,
guns.
yeah, it's actually more dangerous when it's on the black market because you go to buy a gun from someone on the black market and then they shoot you and take your money.
But
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not
whenever
saying
don't
you
the
go
you?
other one. I'm not
But
saying the other
don't
one's
you?
safer. I'm not saying the other one's safer.
But don't you think you need more guns, or you need a gun for yourself because you have the high expectancy of someone else in front of you having a gun? While in Germany you don't really need to think about it because you know that no
Dude,
one
you
can go in
drink
the
the
store and get a
Kool-Aid
gun.
play. Someone get this man out of Germany ASAP, dude. He drank the Kool-Aid. Get this man out of here. You're not safer with no guns. Hey, when the government decides to try to take over, which
No, I
country has a better chance of fighting back? The country with a lot of guns or the country without a lot of guns?
what more should the government take over? I mean, look at TikTok, man. I mean, look at this. Look at the apps people use. Look at the fallen state of their IQ, man. You you
Red herring,
you really you not the red dude. Just look at the people, man. They're
I
so
think it's more
comfortable.
so
They
that
don't care.
I think
Look at the
in
past
America
two
they
years,
have a gun
Witze.
culture.
Just
See,
be realistic, man. These people
that's the thing.
like listen to the people in here defending the globe. Listen to them easily putting something into their bloodstream, man. They don't
yeah,
care. They don't care even
bro.
about their own
Come on,
blood.
bro.
Hold
No,
on a
I
sec.
agree
Hold on.
with that. I agree with all that, man. Like, come on. Go ahead.
I think America work better with gun. Like I just would see it as very dangerous if England all of a sudden started selling guns. I just think it would be a bad idea. But I don't know whether because it's been like that in America for so long that they are more. I don't know. You know.
Can I get in on? Can I get in on this conversation?
Sure.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like all the shootings that's ever happened in the U.S., do you know what they are? Gun-free zones. Okay. Now, if you put somebody, if you had every teacher in a classroom is carrying a weapon and they're trained on how to use it, Do you think a shooting would occur in that school? No. Why don't people
Exactly.
invade military bases? Why don't people invade military bases? Because there's lots of guns there. And actually, other countries, as I said, the reason they don't invade the U.S. is because and I think that what the Japanese said, there's a gun behind every blade of grass. You know,
Yep.
it's one thing to fight. It's one thing to fight just the military, but when you got every person in the U.S. that may potentially have a gun on them or in their possession somewhere, you're not going to invade that country.
But isn't
You know,
that
Yeah.
sort of
Also,
mentality that gets
like
you building
90%,
atomic bombs?
90%
what's that?
of shootings, 90%
That
of
sort of
like shootings
mentality is what gets you building bombs, and then the bigger bomb, and then you need a bigger bomb than your opponent, and then you still need to create bigger and bigger bombs and bigger guns.
all right,
I think it's called mutual assured destruction. Go ahead.
90%
Go
of
ahead.
like violent crimes, gun-related crimes in the United States are from illegal weapons. So like that's what I've never understood about this, dude. It's like, okay, you want to prevent people from breaking the, believe it or not, if you go shoot at children or shoot up a school or kill someone, that's against the law, right? So how is creating a law gonna stop people that break the law?
Well, here's another thing. They talk about the violent crimes and what's been caused by guns. Have you ever looked at the statistics on how a good person with a gun stopped crime? Have you looked at that statistic in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
I mean, think about this. You got my wife is very small. I'm 250 pounds. Did lose a little weight, so just leave me alone. But she's short. I mean, if a 200-pound guy came towards her, without a gun, who would lose? Who would lose? She would. But if she pulls out a gun to this assailant, she is protected. And also, the other thing too, what's the response time of a cop? 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes,
Sure, if you're lucky.
if you're lucky. Yeah. So, which is better, having something where you can protect yourself on your person, or waiting for some cop or some other person to come and show up? Which is better?
But
I agree with that, but it's just the idea of it being available to anyone, you know.
Well, if you're a felon, you can't do it. So, like in my state, I'm from Tennessee, and in Tennessee, dude,
Go
you can
balls.
just buy a
Go
gun.
balls.
Just go buy a gun, dude. If you're a felon, you can't buy a gun. I don't even agree with that. I think
I
that
don't
if
either.
you're a violent criminal, maybe, and you should only be able to have them in your house or something. Maybe. But like, if you're like, oh, he got caught with a couple ounces of weed when he was 18, he could never have a gun. That's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, like,
that's
I
the only
think,
rule. And
yeah, one about like having it staying in the house makes a bit more sense, you know.
I
but
don't know about that either.
quick question, Witsit, could you really shoot like a government official, a public entity like a cop or a military guy because he's now defending the NVO and trying to capture your children and whatnot?
dude, I have a KS-57, Clay. It shoots 7.62. It's an
Yeah,
AR
but
style AK. Yeah, yes,
so you can
yes.
like shoot. You would like shoot like 4, 5, 6 cops in the head if you want to.
If they came anywhere close to my daughter,
Okay.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Can government officials or cops break the law? And have they?
yeah, of course.
Right. So, who's the one to stand up against a corrupt government? Who does that?
Not Germans. I'm just kind of kidding, but yeah, like
I
Clay, you
mean, the
understand
thing.
something?
Go ahead. Go ahead with it.
Well,
No,
this is
go
what I'm
ahead.
saying. I've never understood this. I've never understood this. Like, so it's like, you really think you could take over the government? It's a terrible argument. Like, you really think you could stop the government? Dude, the reason the government doesn't come after you is because of that. Like, it's a deterrence. And yes, 100%. If I coordinate with like 50 other men in my local community, the government has a huge disadvantage. We're on our home turf. We know where we're going to hide, where we're going to go, how we can ambush them, how we can set up trip lines, how we can do all kinds of stuff to where, sure, they may be able to take over my little community of 50 people, but it's not going to be one for one. It's going to take way too much time, too many resources with the immensity of the United States, if you have that going on, the government can't win. You know how I know that? Because the government actually did a logistical operation to see if they could take over the American public by force, and they discovered that they can't even get close. They can't even get close to taking us over by force. So like that argument doesn't mean anything to me. It's a deterrent. It's a deterrent. Is a dude more likely to go rape a girl if she has a 9mm in her purse or a 380 in her purse, or is he less likely if he knows that she has a 380 in her purse? Like it's a deterrent.
You know what I think
Understand?
about us Germans here? I really have the feeling Germans are like a little let's say like a balloon that you fill with water, right? And the water represents like the amount of bullshit they would take. But at a certain point, that balloon will just explode, and it will go to the opposite characteristic of what was first presented. And
Right.
I really think Germans are this way, right? Like they take a lot of shit, but at a certain point they just don't take it anymore. And if you ask many normal folks here, right, Germans are like very polite people most of the time. When you get into a private conversation with them, they actually agree with most of the things you say, right? But they just don't go out there and tell everyone what they hate about the government. So to say, like they're not this openly patriotic like the US, like you would find in the US, if that makes sense, right?
I don't know. So some
Well,
big
and
I
honestly,
Someone needs to get Clay a plane ticket to the United States, man. Get this dude in the Florida sunshine and have him come to the gym with me, play some basketball. Get this dude a wife in Florida. Get him a
I
car.
was gonna, I was
Someone
gonna
save him.
say, I'm ex-military, but I'm not as patriotic as you think. I mean, I'm actually more about protecting my family and friends, than I am about like protecting this country per se. I mean, I protect the country when it's doing the things it's supposed to be doing, but I'm not going to protect it when it's not doing those things. So patriotism for patriotism's sake is not a good thing, even in the
Dude, I don't
U.S.
even care. I don't even care about the little eagle, the Roman eagle. I don't care about modern day Babylon, which is now the United States. Honestly, I think the entire northeastern portion literally used to be Babylon right now. I think that the biblical lands all happen in the United States. I don't like our government at all. I'm talking about like your fellow man. You defend your fellow man, right? That's the point. The only thing I like about this place when it comes to our government is that its foundation is that we can tell them to kick rocks. Okay, so I mean, I've never understood the lack of gun. Like, dude, you know how many times I've had to go grab my gun because there's a physical threat? 0 times. That doesn't mean I would ever let them take it from me.
Well, I never
It's
had any
stupid.
physical threat. People mostly scared to enter our property because they think we have guns because we live in a region of a lot of hunting, and we never had any problems of people actually like no one actually wants to enter
Dude,
because
you just made my argument, Clay. They don't come to your. You said they don't come to your property because they think you may have guns.
yeah.
There you go. That's my whole point, man. The government doesn't try to take the American people over by force because they know they have guns.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's a deterrent. It's like that criminal's like, I don't want to go on Clay's family's property. Look at all this hunting property. They're gonna shoot me with a rifle. That would be stupid. Let me just go to the city where I know they don't have anything. This is why theft is just rampant in like England.
I mean, I'm like Whitsett. I live in Tennessee, and I could probably walk down the street, knock on every door, and I'd probably find at least on my street alone probably 10 or 15 guns probably that people own in the house. But you don't see
Yeah.
them. You don't see them. You know what? We have a very polite street. We have a very nice street. It's calm. It's collected. You know what I mean? And I live in Knoxville, and honestly, Knoxville is one of the better cities to live in. Don't go to Memphis. Stay away from Memphis. I'm not sure where you live, Austin, but
Yeah,
I
Memphis
think
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, but my cousin owns a garage in Lenore City, and he you can go in his shop and guess what you see on his hip? He's packing, and he owns this shop. Nobody thinks anything but twice about it. You got the cops come from the local town, the sheriff and the city police come and have their car oil changed at his place. I mean, it's like, I mean, you don't thinking of having all these guns in a community would make it like it's a very violent place. It actually makes it a very peaceful place to me. I would
Yeah,
think.
people don't even think twice about it. Think about the difference, dude. Like in Tennessee, if you have a gun on your hip and you're like clearly holstering it properly and stuff like that, people don't even flinch, dude. They don't even think about it. If you went to like these places in Europe with a gun on your hip, everyone's gonna be super nervous, freaking out, calling the cops, like just can't handle it. Dude, I'm so desensitized to guns. I grew up around them. That's how I know they're not bad. They're not bad, right? Like it's just really crazy the spell they've pulled off on people because this is how resistance will be futile for
So
sure.
when I
But
when I read
that's what I
through
think is different.
forums,
That's what I think is different from America to like places like Europe, where it's not so much of a like for us it would be like opening Pandora's box. Do you know what I mean?
but from
I
what I'm
guess, man.
reading, Witzel, from
Dude,
what I'm reading right now, getting a weapon in Germany is not really that complicated. Like literally, if you have a good reason, or even if it's just for sport, and you have a clean background, you have no problem with getting a weapon.
But do you understand the problem, dude? You have to tell the government your reason for getting a gun. It's the principle of that. So when they don't want you to have any guns at all, what are they going to do? Just say no. Dude, in Tennessee, like, okay, I had never bought a gun before, so like I never went into a store and bought a gun or anything. Because in America, my friend can give me a gun, just give it to me. I can give him $1 for it if I want to. Like, as long as he isn't aware that I'm a felon and he's selling a gun legally to a felon, then he's fine. That's how my state works. I went
yeah,
in there to buy a pistol because I just wanted a 9 mil, and the dude, I wasn't in the system, so he's like, okay, well, we're just gonna do a background check to verify basically that you're not a felon. And so I had to wait 2 weeks to run my initial background check. That's the only thing I've ever had to do, and that's because they want to make sure you're not a felon. Like that's plenty of regulation, man. They're doing a background check on me. They're making sure I haven't done any violent crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you where I live now. I actually live in South Carolina right now. It's the same thing. Florida's similar as well. If like when the raccoon ate my chicken, my neighbor came over, started talking to me about it. He's like, hey, well, I'll just go over and grab my 22 right now, and I'll bring it over here and just leave it with you for a few days. I'll load it up, bring it over here right now. You can have it for a few days. Like, you want to live in a world that's like that, bro. Trust me. Because I told him all has a 9 mil and a 7.62, right? I'm not gonna like close range a raccoon with 7.62. He's like, oh, I'll just go grab my 22 and bring it to you right now. This is very important for freedom, man. Like it's very sad that we live in a world that people think it's cool, man. Where it's like, hey, daddy, government, this is why I want a gun. It's not to defend myself. It's just because I just want to hunt. Well, little Johnny, I need $500. I need you to write a paragraph of why you think you should have it, and then I'll bring you my approval decision in a couple of weeks.
yeah, dude. In Arizona, you could carry unconcealed without a license. It was insane when I lived there. Everyone carried a gun, just constantly.
But I'm just wondering when in the time and history of Europe, or where in Europe is it actually, a cultural thing to have guns around you? Like, isn't it like the typical American thing to have guns?
Well, no, back in the day, tons of Germans had guns, and this is documented, right? They ran psychological operations where they had people run up in public and shoot people up with a gun, and then publicized it, and then scared the people into voting against or voting for gun restriction in Germany. Back in the day, every man had a gun.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, no, not literally every one of them. But yeah, dude, men had guns back in the day, bro. It's just a thing.
Yeah, before
Like
that it
think
was
about
going
this.
out.
Yeah, and a sword. Like just like Yeshua said, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and get one. That's a
I
gun
have a
now.
sword right next to me. I have a very long katana, which is definitely legal in Germany.
That's gonna be a problem when someone has a 9mm pointed at you.
Exactly, man.
It's definitely legal and it's not sharpened. Okay, just for the record.
Okay. Well, that's not what Yeshua was talking about. He's talking about defending yourself. But like, dude, America is a perfect place to talk about this, right? Because if you just look at it, it breaks it all down. You have places like Florida, places like Tennessee. Florida's kind of crazy though, because everyone goes there because it's so pretty. So like, just type in like Florida man and go to the news, right? But like, still Florida, and then you have South Carolina, Tennessee, right? Southeastern state, and then look at the violent crime. If you see violent crime, it's always in their like poverty-ridden areas where the cops don't really go, and there's a bunch of illegal weapons. Okay, now go look at the parts of America where there are really, really strict gun laws, right? So you have Chicago and New York City, for example, really strict gun laws regarding like firearms, like pistols. They
Mhm.
have like the highest murder rates. People are just getting slaughtered there because there's no good people with guns. So the bad people are like, oh, well, who's going to stop me?
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? It proved it. Our country proved it. That very strict gun laws make it more dangerous.
How about the
Mm.
simple fact in Florida I could go out for 2 hours, catch myself dinner that I don't have to go to the store for? What are you doing in Germany for your dinner?
Wait, what?
I could just go for 2 hours with a fishing rod and some dead shrimp and go ahead and catch myself fresh food out of the ocean that hasn't been touched by man yet. I did this
Where?
yesterday, for example. So, what are you
Where?
doing in Germany? Aren't you like a landlocked state or a country almost? Do you have a little bit of ocean at the north?
Well, I can just go 10 minutes down to a river that flows right next to me. We have a lot of rivers where you can find good fish.
Oh, nice. Do you do that often?
No, I don't fish.
Germany does have some water north, right? Like close to Denmark, right?
That's what I was saying. Like in their northern region, it touches the ocean, doesn't it?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I
but
think so.
I mean, you find also fish in not only in the ocean, right?
Yeah, but
Here in
that's where you get all the variety of the fish.
Yeah. Here in Florida, we have tons of fresh water, but we don't really eat the fish out of fresh water because of rain drain off it, and people fertilize their lawns and all kinds of nasty stuff. At least the ocean has a tide which flushes out all the nastiness.
But in Germany, we
Yeah, and it
have
has
very
salt.
strict water control. So if someone would do stuff like that, they gonna pay a lot of money. In Germany, you can't even just go onto your out on your yard or in front of your house and use pesticides or something like that. If you get caught, you're gonna pay a lot of money.
Yeah, neither can I, but the municipalities are exempt from those rules.
Dude, the United States is like, I actually think that this may, like, the promised land maybe in the U.S. I think that all the biblical land was here. And just think about the United States as a whole, right? It makes sense. You have like all these different climates, you have all this different wildlife, like all the scriptural animals named are in the Bible. They're not in Africa. Are in the United States. They're not in Africa. They're not in the Middle East, right? They're like, oh, well, what about David killed a lion? That's in America. So like, I'm like falling down this rabbit hole right now, and America is like incredibly beautiful. That's why they hijacked it, made it like the center of depravity. Basically, their new world order agenda is being facilitated here faster.
Well,
I'm just saying,
I'm
we
just
have
saying,
Which animals are these with?
I don't disagree with it.
every animal in the Bible is in the United States. Every single animal. And if they're not right now, like in North America, are native to North America, a lot of them like started in North America, are only found in North America, and then a couple of them are like have become like extinct. in the last like 100 years or so in North America. But yeah, because I was following this rabbit hole. I'm like, what about lions? Oh, never mind. We have lions.
I don't
So we
disagree
have,
with it, but I don't disagree, but I highly recommend, man, for you to visit Germany one day. I mean, you have ancestry from here, right? You're gonna love it, man.
yeah, maybe, yeah. Like
I'm
I think I
supposed
do. Yeah, my last name, my real last name, is definitely tracked back to Germany. Yeah.
Clay. I'm supposed to visit in September, October because my
Do we
wife's
have
son is
apes
in
in North America?
Ramstein. So I'll let you know. I'll give you a good.
Oh, Ramstein. Oh, nice, man. You're gonna be around the area where I live. I mean, I don't live close to Ramstein, but you should ask your wife on a free day. Can you drive down to like Trier and the Mosel River area? It's not far away from Ramstein.
We're gonna come
And
visit you, dude. What do you mean? Come on, you're gonna show me these places, right?
Yeah,
sure,
you should definitely.
I could do that, man. If I have time. I mean, right now working a lot, but if I have a free
Yeah, you're
day,
gonna
I
need
You
a
have
tour
can.
time to
guide.
move. You have time to move to America.
What?
No, I guess you would never want to move because of your family. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I wanna be there for my parents at some
No, I
point
get
in my
that.
life.
Dude, Nate, did you ask about apes? Apes aren't in the Bible as to the promised land. Like, what do you like? I think
Well,
apes are referred to like
I
in
thought
from
you
another
didn't just meant
country.
animals mentioned in the Bible. I don't know.
No, I mean specific to like the animals described as being where the tribes were.
Yeah, like camels, right?
Dude, I'm falling down this rabbit hole, dude.
Like
Camels in America as well.
we have camels here, like native
Yeah,
to North
dude,
America.
it'll blow your mind when you start looking at. I'll continue a video, man. This
Yeah,
dude
please
breaks
do.
down all the animals, and he in like because there's things like say another one that I would think isn't in America is like an ostrich. We basically have like an ostrich in the United States. Dude, it's so crazy, dude. There's so many animals that you don't realize are here. I'll
Dude,
find the video for
the cover story too is when they found like animals like that they would find here, they would just say it was the circus. Oh, an animal got loose from the circus. That's
you.
their
You know what
cover
else is
story.
crazy? Like this is one of the big things, and then it has to be like separated by like a river, and then have a freshwater inland body of water on the other side of it.